Hello everybody, just a quick little message before I hop into the deck profile. This is going to be sort of like a longer video, so feel free to put this as sort of a background podcast type thing, so that way you don't really get bored by just looking at the deck profile, and you can just hear my thoughts on what I came up with, which is no Electrumite Odd Eyes. So yeah, without further ado, enjoy the video. Hello everybody, welcome to another deck profile. This time I'm profiling Odd Eyes, a deck that I love very much, and I've had a lot of success with, just because, you know, once you learn how to play Odd Eyes and how to problem solve using your Odd Eyes cards, you become significantly better at the game. Before I jump into the deck profile, I'll invite you guys to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, as that helps out a ton and shows me that you like what I'm doing, and you want me to upload more quote-unquote weekly deck profiles, which is usually about 2 videos every week, so you know, because I have to like make lists and then refine them, and my current list for Odd Eyes is still not just where I want it to be, just because I do want to play Luster Pendulum, because I think Luster Pendulum is pretty neat, being able to build up your extra deck so you can get some okay Pendulum summons, but for now, I feel like you could easily, Yugo Golem, I don't need it as much as I thought I would, so you could just play the Luster Pendulum instead of the Yugo Golem, and as a 1-of, I feel like the card is pretty okay. As a 2-of, because it's the maximum amount of cards you can play, it's still pretty good. But for the most part, the idea here is that I'm playing an Odd Eyes no Electrumite strategy, so sort of like more friendly towards the budget play that cannot just spit out, you know, $60 for a copy of Electrumite. So I decided to make a build that does not require you to play Electrumite. And in this build, I'm sort of focusing more on just battle damage and monster attack differences, as well as a lot of burn damage with Gatling Ghoul, and just being able to remove things very easily. So yeah, I'm just going to go over the deck profile and then going to give you guys some explanations. So starting off, playing triple Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon, the best pendulum scale you want. Just very good, phenomenal card. 1 Odd Eyes Lancer, just solid card. 1 Odd Eyes Dissolver. This card just became like really important in a no Electrumite Odd Eyes strategy. So you want to get to this card as quickly as possible, just because this card enables you to do so many plays. Then triple classic Odd Eyes Pendulum. I prefer this artwork, in my opinion. I just think it looks better. Triple Electrumite, basically the last thing that keeps a deck together. With the loss of Joker, the deck became a lot less consistent, and it's not as easy to make Electrumite, so we need all the ways to just pump out monsters. Most of the time we want them to be level 7, just so that we have access to rank 7 plays, or synchro plays, or even just dark fusion plays. Then playing double Phantom. I don't agree with 3, because this card is really not good at 3, but at 1 you won't see it enough. I feel like at 2 you'll see the first copy when you need it, and then the second copy is sort of like a clutch card, just to help you seal the deal. Then playing my 1 spicy Janker Magician. I just really love this card. Being a level 7 spellcaster that's dark and has a pretty good effect. I feel like both a pendulum effect and a monster effect. I feel like it's definitely worth running this card in my build. Then going for the double Supreme King Gate 0, just a really good card. Lots of good useful effects, and just a overall solid card to play. Also searchable off Dark Web. And then playing double Persona. I really want to bump Persona up to 3, just because he's like really good negation going first. But if you know, like, he's only good when you're going first most of the time, just because he doesn't have the best attack stats, and he's really just a go first card to give you a little bit of protection, because he has a pretty big booty and has some negations. But other than that, I just like him as a name for my fusions and my other plays, and yeah, I just think he's pretty okay at 2. Then playing the 1 Luster Pendulum. Again, this is sort of interchangeable between Luster and Yugo Golem, but I feel like Luster right now gives the deck a little bit more utility, just being able to allow you to go into more plays, and also being a level 4 tuner. Luster plus, say for example, Darkworm can get you can grant you access to things like Ignister, and also Supreme King Clearwing. So very, very solid card. Then I'm playing triple Dark Worm. Dark Worm, with the loss of Joker, we gained Dark Worm. Previously, I was playing Joker and Sorcerer just because that package was really good at turboing out Electrumite and also building lots of advantage. But since we lost Joker, Dark Worm is a pretty okay alternative, I would say. Then the one Mirage. A lot of people debate whether even to play this card, but I feel like sometimes having a way to protect an Odd Eyes monster from battle or card effect, especially against things like Mirror Forces and just spot removal and destructions and stuff, I feel like it's pretty nice. It's also a name and it's a level 3 monster, so why not play the Odd Eyes Mirage? Then Noble Dragon Magician. This card is actually really, really solid. I really only want to play one of it because if I see it, it basically it makes its own plays, but like I don't want to make my deck around it. So one for me is pretty okay. Then playing the one Synchron, again very similarly to Noble Dragon. If I see it, I'll make the plays around it, but I shouldn't be forcing myself to search it or make it like as a 3 of or whatever. Just pretty nice utility cards. Then for the consistency, I'm playing the triple Duelist Alliance along with the triple Spiral Flame Strike. These are consistency cards. They are what adds your cards from your deck to your hand. Then I'm playing triple Dragon Shrine just because I'm able to send to the graveyard Dark Worm, and that's pretty much what I want to do. I just want to send a Dark Worm. You could just easily cut out a Dragon Shrine and play second copy of Luster if you choose so. It doesn't really affect your consistency. It just means that the Dark One becomes less of a normal summon, less of a special summon and more of a normal summon. So yeah, it really depends on what you want to play. Then I'm also playing the one Odd Eyes Fusion, just a really solid fusion spell if we do not have access to Odd Eyes Dissolver. And one of the reasons why I was playing Performapal Yugo Golem, but again, Yugo Golem not being searchable by Skullcrobat, because Skullcrobat is banned, makes this card just a little bit less good. I hope they bring back Joker once Magicians have toned down, because Joker hurts more decks than it actually affects. So because like Joker supports 3 different archetypes, the Odd Eyes, the Magicians, and the Performapals. Joker's very much needed for Performapals and Odd Eyes. So with that card gone, we have to play some other like suboptimal engines, in my opinion. I just think Joker was just like a really phenomenal card. Then I'm playing the one Foolish Burial to synergize with things like Dark One, but also I can send to the graveyard pretty much whatever I need, if I need to, and then I can bring it back from the grave using things like Odd Eyes Arc. So yeah, but Foolish Burial just being a very versatile card. Then the Triple File Spell Track, already explained, for the consistency, along with Duelist Alliance, giving you plenty of ways to search out your Odd Eyes Arc. And I'm also playing the one Summoner's Arc just because sometimes when I draw this card, it's pretty nice, even if my opponent ashes it or whatever, it's all good. But I want to really play more copies of this card, just because I feel like at 1, you'll see it enough, where you'll see this card when you don't have already access to it. And I'm also playing Triple Sky Iris. Compared to previously, I was playing Triple Sky Iris, Triple Terraforming, Triple Curtain Raiser, Triple Joker. It was basically very focused on turboing out Electrumite. But on this build, I'm focusing on using my extra deck as a toolbox to remove my opponent's cards. And this particular build prefers going second. So yeah, very, very good. For the extra deck, I really like what the extra deck is currently looking like. I feel like double Absolute might be a little bit too much, and I sort of want to play double Vortex, just because like with things such as Invoked running around, if they banish your Vortex for a Raiden, and then like you never have access to your Vortex ever again, it'll hurt you like a lot. So in my opinion, it's just better to have 2 Vortex, so you can actually if it ever gets banished or taken or whatever, you have another copy to rely on. So for the extra deck, I'm playing one Gatling Ghoul, probably my favorite extra deck card right now, just because it's so good. Being able to remove cards, because it's non-targeting removal, and also it deals a lot of burn damage, and it just has pretty nice attack. Being level 8 doesn't really matter a whole lot, but pretty solid card. Playing one Starving Venom, another really good card that I just like making going first, because if my opponent deals with this and removes it, then all of their monsters get destroyed unless they negate it. But just a pretty solid card to, you know, basically, it's putting a break on your opponent. Like, okay, you remove this, you're gonna get everything destroyed. So it's really up to you. Then playing one Supreme King Starving Venom. A pretty solid card because it's able to pretty much copy any card that you need it to. You can copy things like Vortex. If you don't know what this card does, once per turn you can target one monster in your one monster on the field or in the graveyard until the end phase. This card becomes that monster's original name and replace the effect with this card's effect. Also, this card gains piercing. So basically, this can become like an Ignister. It can become like, say for example, a Clear Wing. It can become an Absolute. It can become a Vortex. It can become a Gatling Ghoul. Whatever you need this card to be, it becomes that. And I think it's just really, really powerful in this strategy, because sometimes you just have like 2 dark monsters left on the field and you're like, you know, sometimes I have like awkward situations where I have a Mirage and an Underclock Taker, and I'm like, not Underclock Taker, but I have let's say a Mirage and like a Synchron, and I'm like, these monsters are not really doing anything, let me just fuse them away for Starving Venom, Supreme King Dragon Starving Venom, and you know, a much better card. And then playing the one Ignister for non-targeting removal, and a pretty solid synchro that we can make off Luster Pendulum, along with, even though you can't really make Luster Pendulum, you can't use Luster Pendulum, you can't use it to make Clear Wing, which is a problem, because he can only make Draco Slayer monsters. But there are other ways of making this card. It just really depends how creative you want to be. You can make it, for example, with Noble Dragon and Lancer, because you reduce this by 3, so it becomes a level 5, and this is a level 3, so you have a level 8 there. And, oh wait, no, you can't, because Lancer is a light target. Anyway, the point is, this guy is just very versatile. And the other really cool thing is how it interacts with Supreme Gate Zero, so very, very solid card. Meteor Burst. Meteor Burst sort of like an extension card, and Clear Wing as sort of like a mini boss monster type card, where it protects itself and, you know, deals with some of your opponent's cards. And then for flavor, I'm also playing the Odd-Eyes Rebellion, because you can make it with Jiangxia Magician, so it can actually get really its powerful effect off, and it becomes like a devastating boss monster for your opponent to deal with, and it's just a really solid like win condition. Then playing the one Absolute. Absolute is really good because it floats, it can negate attacks, and this guy just does a lot for the deck. You can easily play this at 2, but it's up to you. Then playing one Big Eye and one Flare Metal, just for like toolbox level 7s, Big Eye being able to seal my opponent's monsters, and Red Eye's Flare basically putting my opponent under pressure, making them inflict damage to themselves every time they activate a card. So then playing the one Zephyr Metaltron as a pretty okay Link 3, you could play Deco Talker, it's really up to you, and the one Underclock Taker as like a staple Link 2. Now, before I jump into my final thoughts and explanations of the deck, just want to quickly say that when we get Hieratic Seal of Celestial Spheres, this card is really good. Like, this card is really good for Odd Eyes. In terms of card economy, it's not as good as Electrumite, but if Electrumite gets banned or gets hit or whatever, Hieratic Seal is a really nice alternative. Reason being, its card's effect is you summon it with 2 dragon monsters, and once per turn, if this card is in the extra monster zone, quick effect, you can tribute 1 monster from your hand or field. So being able to tribute from the hand, that's pretty good. And return 1 face-up card on the field to the hand. So basically non-targeting removal. If this card is tributed, special summon 1 dragon monster from your hand or deck, but its attack and defense becomes 0. You can only use this effect of Hieratic Seal once per turn. So this card is really nuts. Removal and also floatiness is amazing, because let's say you tribute itself for its effect, you can pretty much bring out any Odd Eyes card that you need, despite its effect, despite being 0 attack, 0 defense, you can bring out whatever you need, basically, like any dragon, because the effects are not negated. So you can bring out a Dark Worm if you need a Surge, you can bring out Luster Pendulum if you want to go for a Synchro play, and then go into Ignister for more removal, because Ignister is a dragon. You can pretty much bring out any of your Odd Eyes cards that you can use for fusions and whatever. So just a very, very solid card once it comes out. But it's not out yet, so I don't really want to test with it too much, so I don't get used to it. And then for the rest of the side deck, again, you know, hand traps are always welcome, and back row hate is also pretty welcome. And then Wavering Eyes, I feel like Wavering Eyes is more of a side deck card. I don't really want to main it because, despite Pendulum Magician being the best deck, and you'd be expecting everybody to play it, we're in such a diverse format that, you know, you won't necessarily go against a Pendulum deck. I mean, what would you call it? Pendulum Magicians. So Wavering Eyes, more of a side deck card in my opinion. And then all the generic things like, you know, Dimensional Barriers, Twin Twisters, Cosmic Cyclones, also Chaos Hunter being a very good card. Even Monster Reborn, which is something I feel like my deck is missing. I sort of want to play a Monster Reborn. Like, I could easily just take out the Mirage and play a Monster Reborn. Just because Monster Reborn is just a really good power spell, synergizes with lots of your extra deck monsters, being able to bring them back for really powerful effects. Very, very solid. So yeah, that about concludes the deck, extra deck, and some side deck options. Now just quickly, some things I want to talk about. A really popular combo that I saw, I believe, was by Dual Entertainment. They showed me how to use Odd Eyes Dissolver along with Pendulum, Odd Eyes Arc, Pendulum Dragon, and Supreme King 8-0. So the idea is to have Odd Eyes Arc on the field in your Pendulum Zone, right? Because this is the card that you want to have in your Pendulum Zone at all times, especially protected under things like Sky Iris. Then you Pendulum summon out a Supreme King 8-0, because none of your Pendulum skills have Pendulum summoning restrictions, right? So you just get any scale that can, like, this is already scale 8, so it can go up to 7, and pretty much anything from, like, 1, 0, 1, or whatever, right? So you Pendulum summon this, and then use its effect to target one face-up card you control, destroy both this and this card. So what you can do is that you can target, like, an Odd Eyes card that you might have in the Pendulum Zone, and then destroy it and destroy this, and then bring out, for example, a Supreme King Clearwing. Because when you do that, it'll trigger the Odd Eyes Arc, allowing you to special summon a Odd Eyes Dissolver, and then you can fuse the Dissolver plus the Clearwing into a Gatling Ghoul or a Vortex, or whatever you need, basically. Although Vortex, you'd have to do the play a little bit different because it has to be an Odd Eyes monster plus a Pendulum monster. But yeah, the idea is to, like, use this combo to, like, pretty much go into your fusion extra decks or whatever. So it's just a pretty neat combo, I think, in my opinion, which synergizes really well with the Odd Eyes Arc. Or you can just, like, bring whatever you need, really. Like, you can bring out a level 7 off this. So it has to be like one dragon or synchro. So you could even bring out things like you can bring out things like Clearwing. Does it have to be a dark monster? No, it does not have to be a dark monster. So you can bring out like a Clearwing plus like any other level 7, and then XCs into, for example, an Odd Eyes Absolute or a Flare Metal or a Big Eye. I think it's just like a really versatile play that you should learn since you're playing no Electrumite Odd Eyes. So yeah, other things, I really like Junker Magician just because if I have an Odd Eyes Absolute plus any other level 7 monster, I can use the effect of Junker Magician to make Absolute have levels and then overlay into Rebellion, and then because of Absolute, I can pretty much bring out any Odd Eyes monster from the extra deck that I need, although you would need some markers, some link markers pointing to convert monster zones into extra monster zones so that you can get the full value of this play, which is why I think once this card is out, that play will be facilitated. Also, for the most part of the deck, I feel like the deck lost a little bit in consistency, but gained a lot of versatility, since the deck isn't as streamlined as it once was. You know, since, Pendulum cards were getting a little bit out of hand, especially the anime Odd Eyes Performer Pile things due to Joker being at 3 and Wisdom Eye being at 3 and whatever. I wish I could actually play Wisdom Eye, but he only places Magicians. So, yeah. Other than that, I feel like the deck is just as powerful. Sometimes it might struggle with bigger beat sticks, such as Blue Eyes. And yeah, so I'm just gonna quickly show you guys a few replays that I have. I think it's like only one or two. First one is against Blue Eyes, just to really show like how different the deck is. So this guy is playing Blue Eyes, and he is just popping off. You know, he has the White Son of Legend, trade in. He's just really trying to dig deeper into his deck. Discarded Skill Drain. I probably would have discarded something else, but I don't know. I'm not the biggest Blue Eyes advocate. And, you know, he's going for the Scaldy. He has a Designator from the grave, probably keeping that against hand traps or something. And makes a Spirit Dragon, and then uses Spirit Dragon effect to tag out, which I think was a mistake, but I guess he was going for a Crystal Wing. Indeed, uses the effect of Ancient Fairy, and then gets 2 monsters on the field. So he can tag Spirit White, and he has a negation, so I go for Foolish. Use Darkworm's effect to get my Gate 0. Use the effect of Sky Iris to pop my Darkworm, and then search a Pendulum Dragon, and then make a big Pendulum summon. Bait the effect of Crystal Wing, and then use the effect of Junkie Magician on Dragon Spirit of White, and then I'm able to bring out a Gatling Ghoul, and then just basically really popping off here. So either way, my opponent was going to lose, because if I attacked with my Starving Venom into his Blue Eyes, he would take the exact number of damage, and I also made a Supreme King Starving Venom to copy the effect of Gatling Ghoul. I don't know how that would work. I don't know if Gatling Ghoul's a hard once per turn or not, but either way, I had game, you could say. And this next duel is just to show that the deck is really good in the grind games. So my opening was not the best. I feel like it was pretty rough, but I was trying to establish something. So, you know, I was going blind for... Well, I lost the die roll, so my opponent made me go first. So I was just trying to establish something that was relatively hard to deal with. So yeah, I've got a negate, and if my monster leaves the field, blows up everything. My opponent Kaiju's my Vortex, which was fine. And then he goes for Desires, Invocation, banishing my Vortex. And then he uses the effect of Raiden to beat over my monster. And then I use the effect of Starving Venom to destroy his Raiden, and then he Ghost Ogres it, but then I use the effect of Starving Venom to pop everything, which is a mistake. Was a mistake by him. I thought I think he should have just gone for the Alistair play or something, or like save the Alistair to boost the monster's attack. So here I just deal a little bit of damage, and I have a negation on the field from anything that was special summoned, so my opponent gets an Alistair Invocation play, shuffles everything back, and then I immediately use the effect of Persona Dragon to bait out anything that my opponent might have had. Even though he still had an Effect Veiler, he pitched an Effect Veiler. And then he Cosmic Cyclones my Scales. He cannot target my Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon because it's protected by Sky Iris, and so he thought he'll just destroy the, well, he'll just banish the Astrograph, so that I wouldn't be able to pop the Astrograph next turn. So, you know, pretty standard play here. My opponent then attacks and pitches one of his Alistairs. You know, that's absolutely fine, and then I use the effect of Odd Eyes Arc to float into Lancer just because he had 3000 attack. A Dragon Shining for Darkworm just in case I didn't have any monsters, and then he makes the mistake of pitching the Alistair again, and then I just bring the Lancer back from the graveyard due to Odd Eyes Arc. So pretty good. Oh, my opponent was actually playing Invoked Mech Knight. I did not know that. He negates the effect of Darkworm, which was all I needed for him to do, so he wouldn't be able to negate anything else. And then, yeah, I didn't... He had 2 Mech Knights. I didn't really have anything aligned, so he wouldn't be able to special summon out a Mech Knight. So I basically win GG there. What time are we on? 23 minutes. Okay, that was a long video. But I feel like I covered everything that I needed to. So yeah, if you guys, once again, enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next one.